Welcome, welcome.
Hello. How's everyone
Hey.
doing?
Hello.
Hey, we're back on stream.
New year, new year.
New
2020.
year, new me. Is that how it goes?
You're
New year,
definitely.
new dash.
Right, let's go. Let's briefly quickly go around the room. My name's Simon Lightfoot, Flutter community leader and CTO at Dev Angels London. And you can find me on Twitter and other things on this very address here. John. Go for it.
Yeah, John Weezy. I manage the Flutter community Medium. You can find me out in Discord and other places answering questions, and online on Twitter and other places using this one over here.
So confusing.
I'm Kaylee. I'm the CEO at Checks on Me, where we do Flutter on the front end, serve Dart on the back end. And I'm not really on much social media. I'm on Blue Sky. You can hit me up at Blue Sky, I guess.
Matthew.
Go Matthew.
Hey, I'm Matthew, also known as Makerinator. I don't do a ton of social media either, but you can find me on LinkedIn as myself and Blue Sky as at Makerinator. And I am on Mastodon as well. But my big thing is I have a YouTube channel. So check out Makerinator on YouTube. I make weird stuff out of Flutter. And I have begun work on the next project. And I am super, super excited about that. And I'll be sharing more as we get closer.
I almost want to go dun dun dun, you know. Like,
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
That sounds
Ezra.
pretty fun, though. I'm Ezra, located in Berlin right now, working as a senior Flutter developer in an agency, also co-author of Flutter design patterns and best practices. Meantime, you can find me leading and contributing to Flutteristas, Flutter Berlin, GTG Cloud Berlin, and many other communities around. So you can find me as Ezra Tech in socials too. Back to Simon.
Did you do a FCAIC stream?
Yes, I think so. Flutter Community AI Circle. Also, as you know, in Flutter Community YouTube channel. That's also one of the communities we are running right now.
It's so I cannot. Mondays is like my busiest day of the week. I cannot, like, it's just full of meetings and talking to people and like catching up from the week before. It's just like, yeah, the only day I cannot do streams.
That's Thursday for me. Like, seriously, everything that happens at work and in my life happens on Thursday. It's like, I don't know why everything gets stacked on Thursday, but there we go.
And we'll I'm just going to briefly do some do's and don'ts. Randall can't be with us today, so we'll just run through this quickly. Be nice, respectful to each other. You know, don't post anything, you know, rude, offensive. You can't advertise or spam. You'll just get blocked. And if you do something naughty, then we'll ban you or pass you on to other people and ban you there. So you probably don't want to do that. The main thing here is to have a good time. As we say normally, get your questions in the chat with a queue in front of them. And what we'll do is, if I can get rid of that thing off the top, there we go. If you want to share code, you want to go to just.new, pop in a description, make sure the file name's got .dart on it so we get the syntax highline, pop your code in there, anything else you want us to code review or look at or comment on, and then post the hash, that's on 0.6 there from the new URL that you get. It's very important that you do not post links in chat because we won't get the entire message, not just the link, but the entire message. So we have people come to us and say, you didn't see my question. That's because you posted a link in your question. So just post a hash if you want to post some code or something else to us, and we can review that. That bit pretty much covers the standard stuff. I'm going to see if I can do mark off the questions a bit as we go because Randall can't be with us today. He's not feeling very well. But I'm sure he'll be back next week, surprising us all with cool stuff.
I'm sure he's listening.
Randall.
So we can wave to him.
He's probably watching.
We missed you.
He'll be answering questions in the chat.
Oops.
Probably. Whoa, gingerbread man. Nice.
I clicked on it.
You know, Matthew, I keep waiting, like, your background. I keep waiting for, like, Perry the Platypus to fly behind you or something.
Yes, I would love that. That would be like the coolest thing. And like, or Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, just kind of pops out on the side or something. Yeah.
My partner and I are huge Phineas and Ferb fans, and that's a lot of where like my stuff came from is because we're obsessed. What can I say?
Yeah, my kids, watched it and still do all the time.
We don't have kids. We have no excuse, but we watch it.
It's all right. Yeah.
It's good. It's good entertainment. You know,
Oh, yeah.
It's that or professional wrestling. So it's Phineas and Ferb typically wins.
I don't know if it's the color of your background, but you look particularly rosy and glowy today. It's very nice.
So it's fun because I did like a whole reset of and I'm using this lately, studio. Ooh, I like that background. I did a whole reset of like the studio, and I'm putting that quote in quotation marks. So you can't tell this, but like everything got rearranged, and I took that opportunity to adjust lights and stuff. And I'm super excited about this. I upgraded my teleprompter. So I had a teleprompter, but the new one is the Elgato teleprompter, which is literally hooks up to your computer, and there's like a screen to it. So not only do you get like the typical teleprompter stuff where you can read text, but I can actually put the window of like this entire stream up and actually look at you guys while I'm talking, which is fantastic. So it's like a second monitor. And
hang on a minute.
Hey! Do that this week. I can do that this week.
It's a 75% more eye contact. I thought maybe you just got one of those fancy cameras that would like follow your eyes so that it always looks.
No. I as much as I am pro AI, that one just feels a little weird. But
yeah,
whatever.
Or maybe some kind of AR. Like an AR thing that would make your eyes look like you're looking at you.
Fake eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
the googly eyes.
You could just imagine you look away and then your eyes just like track to the camera. It's like.
So did anyone see back in 2020 when everyone first started working home, the video of like the guy, he's a judge, and someone installed a filter on his computer that made it look like a cat, and he's like talking in like an official legal proceeding. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat. You know I'm not a cat.
What's happening?
You know what's happening. I saw one which was like it was like a Zoom, right? And he had a very rude name as set as his like handle, and the judge could see that on the Zoom chat. But I think what happened was he was not at his place of residence, so I think it was like, you know what I mean. I think it was like someone else's.
Oh
like,
no!
Someone else had typed in there, and it was, and the judge was very pissed off.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
It's interesting how much the world has changed, particularly after all that. Like I'm still working from home, and like it's lovely. I have zero intention of going back. So, start putting those questions in when you see a dance. Oh yeah, did we mention that you need to put Q : in front of the question, or did we?
I mean, it's on the screen across the bottom of the screen, so
Okay, fair.
It never hurts to say it again and again because people still forget. So.
We're here to answer your Flutter and Dart questions, and not genuine coding questions or anything like that. So I'm happy to, well, I'm sure we all have something to comment on. So get your questions in. We'll also do some live coding at some point during the stream as well. So if you have any, like as I said, if you have any code you want us to review or look at, post a hack from a gist in there, and we'll look at that.
Free's got a good one there we can start with.
Oh yeah.
Let's do Free first, and then I have a sort of kind of related to Free's question to post.
So, does anyone have any Flutter related New Year resolutions they'd like to share?
Do more Flutter.
More Flutter.
Yeah.
Must have more Flutter.
More Flutter. Yes.
Yeah. I have a few actually. I'm just debating on how much I can share because, like, I have, believe it or not, my year in Flutter 3/4 planned out. I'm hoping to do 4 major projects this year that I release for the YouTube channel. So I guess that's my Flutter New Year's resolution. I have 4 major Flutter projects that are uses that you would not normally think of for Flutter that are in my head that I've got planned out that I want to get out. So I want to do 1 video a quarter. That's the plan.
It's a good goal.
Yeah.
I never like to think of resolutions as resolutions. It always feels so. But I like goals. Goals are
Yeah.
Goals are good. For me, my company, we're still building, but our goal is to get at least a beta done pretty soon. And so this year, 2026, should be when we get to actually launch and be live and all those exciting things. So that's my awesome goal that I have in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, it was not all that tongue in cheek. It definitely is for me to do more Flutter, but I'd say it's probably a big one for me is to just make it more of my daily job. Yeah, for the last X number of years, that hasn't been my daily job. It's been the side job. So would love to make it my daily job here this year at some point.
And from my side, in 2025, we had couple workshops with Ivana and Simon. And I do really like having workshops more than the talks. So planning to have more workshops and a little bit more tutorial-like articles is in my plan for this year.
It's quite interesting. I feel like, even though I've done quite a bit over the last year of doing like community stuff, it was less than the year before. I've been very busy over this last year, and I do want to do more community stuff this year. So that's kind of one of my things, I think. I mean, obviously, more coding. I think I've not done a lot to any of my side projects at the moment. It's been so busy with like hands full of like 10 other 100 things, but. Yeah, it'd be really nice to, as always, put more time into the side projects and get more out in the community. I think there's more we could do for this stream as well, So I think we've been speaking about that briefly last year, and I think we should maybe next week start doing some things differently and kind of improve things. But yeah, everyone's here, and I hope everyone's enjoying the show.
So that's a great segue into my kind of question. And this is for the group, and this is for anybody watching the stream too, but for 2026, as our industry keeps changing with AI and stuff, like I would be interested in what the community and what everyone else here thinks about what some great things to talk about and how we take the community for like conferences and different things, because people seem to be less interested in very specific code things and more interested in other things. And I see.
But can you give me an example of what you mean there? Like less interested in.
So the wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous, illustrious Anna Lushenko and I had a little chit chat the other day, and we were kind of talking about this, and she's in more of a leadership position, with many Flutter engineers under her, and a lot of the conversation is turning less from code to bigger concepts and architecture and how to guide AI to do things for you. And I think there's more conversations to be had that aren't necessarily like every conference now is so stuffed with AI that I think there's other things that we can talk about, but
for sure.
What do people want to talk about? What is interesting to people that's not AI? Like Matthew, you have such a great angle of building like tangible things you can touch and do stuff with. And I think that's a fantastic separate angle to go down. And I'm curious how other people are thinking about it.
It's interesting what you just said there, because it's just treating me like there's a aspect of, from my experience in the industry, there's a perceptual route that a lot of developers go through, right? Becoming junior, like understanding the world around them, understanding how to do stuff. And a lot of developers get to that point where they're interested in architecture, they're interested in how they're organizing their code, how things work. But I'm just solving the problem, at hand. They're actually at that point where they're getting essentially hired. They consider them a senior developer at that point, right? Someone that's actually got that high level experience, right? And I think it's interesting you say that based on AI stuff. So I wonder if what you're actually saying there is actually the whole sort of the coding side of it, like the actual putting it together, is not actually that important. Like that junior aspect, they would say, right, as someone's junior. And now it's more about, if that role in terms of development is now taken up by AI doing all the typing for you. Now it's about how do you tell the AI what to do? You're thinking about the architecture, now thinking about that higher level of how things should be structured to get the best result, what patterns to use, what are patterns, so on and so forth. And that you kind of get into that realm of now say, telling the AI, no, I want you to use the visitor pattern to build this, to pass that, to do this thing, to do that thing. And then it's putting all the code together to do that piece of behavior rather than actually, coding it yourself. So maybe that's...
I have like 3 things that are in my head simultaneously. And so to keep myself from talking for 30 minutes straight, I'm going to briefly summarize each of them because I could easily rattle off. But there's 3 major points to that question that I see. The first one is we've talked about, or at least I've mentioned on the show before, that people are so obsessed with AI lowering the floor that they haven't noticed that the ceiling's been raised. And so the first question is, how do I get to the top of that ceiling? And is there a top of that ceiling? Is the top of the ceiling still going up? And for me personally, as someone who works in the industry, I guess the best answer to Frey's question would be, I want to get as close to the top of that ceiling as I possibly can. And I recognize that I'm not going to be able to do that without AI. With that comes, though, my second point, which is I think, and this is getting woo-woo, so feel free to tell me to shut up any moment now, but I think that a lot of the crisis that we're actually seeing in the industry right now is a crisis of identity. So people identify as I'm a coder or I'm a developer, and there are very specific things that come into your head when you identify as that. And my identity is I'm an engineer, I'm a maker, right? And so when you shift from I'm a coder to the mindset of I'm an engineer, suddenly things become very different because your value doesn't come from writing code necessarily. Your value comes from creating the best possible outcome from the tools that are available to you, of which AI happens to be one. And so I think that's not something like, reevaluating your workplace identity is not something I think a lot of people want to hear about. But I think that to get to yourself a good place, that's probably the thing that you do need to be thinking about. And that leads me to like the third thing, which is I think if you look at society as a whole, there's a lot of anxiety of like, how is big tech going to use AI against us? Like, I think that that's something that a lot of people are thinking about, they're worried about. And, we look at the lack of privacy, we look at things that have happened. And I think it's up to us who are people who are engineers who use AI as a tool to see this as an opportunity to create things that make the world better. And, AI has the power to maybe make me have less screen time. AI has the power to, so for example, I can give you a concrete example of this. I'm not releasing this. I wrote this just for myself, but we talked at the beginning of the show. I hate social media, and I have very specific reasons for hating social media. Even like Blue Sky and Mastodon, they're better than the rest because there kind of isn't an algorithm, but I still see stuff that ruins my day and is damaging to my mental health on a semi-regular basis. I wrote a social curator app that I created a prompt, and I said, these are the specific types of things I want to see. And these are the types of things that I want to avoid in my feed. It then generates queries through Gemini Pro to search Blue Sky and Mastodon for the types of posts I would like. And then it takes all those posts, feeds them into Gemini again, and says, based upon the prompt, give each post a score. And then I have in my Flutter app, I can control how high or low I want to set the score depending on how much time I want to put into it. And then it filters based upon my interest. I can say, man, this is an 80% day. I don't want to see anything that's less than an 80% of my interest. Or maybe I'm I got some time. I'll drop that down to 60 or 70. And it's been revolutionary for me because I have been able to see things that are super relevant to me that I care about. It almost feels like the way social media was when it first started. Like when I created my first Facebook account, 20 years ago at this point, I don't know. And so, but that level of curation would not have been possible without having AI that I'm personally in control with. And so I look at that and I'm like, is there a solution here that could potentially be bigger? Is there a solution here that could make the world a little bit better of a place? Even if people had to pay for it, I would happily pay to have access to social media that doesn't damage my mental health. And so like, and I'm not starting this into a business. If you're watching this and you want to steal the idea, it's yours. Take it. I give it to you freely. I have no interest in starting a business, but it was huge for me. I made it for myself because it's something I wanted. And so it's like those types of problems are things that I think that we can tackle now and put into the hands of a normal person that, you know, and these are all very big, heady conceptual ideas. But I think the people that are going to survive what's coming are the people that can think ahead like that. So, end. Sorry about that.
It wasn't half an hour, but you were close.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Simon. Sorry.
No,
I think
it's
it was
interesting.
pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And especially the second point you mentioned about identities, I also had the opinion about like what will be the definition of Flutter developers to hire when it comes to like junior, mid, senior, and how they use the products, how they are able to, let's say, generate the code plus process it and like do it. Right now it's way much more than just giving a case and then figuring out what will it be. I think also lots of juniors and new starters are also a little bit worried about placing themselves somewhere now, because of course the biggest hype is in senior developer doing things fast, also making AI tools that makes it even faster are having the highest hype right now. I think this will be also the topic in 2026 that we would like to actually see around.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you think we're going to see a bubble burst in terms of AI? Because there's a lot of money funneling into AI companies. Maybe not all that they're cracked up to be. I mean, we use AI in a different way to how a consumer uses AI, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
there's an
100%.
interesting aspect here that on your point, by the way, Matthew, again about AI, what you're just talking about there, I was just thinking to myself, you're now putting an AI in charge of your news input as well, right? Like it's taking your it's that big algorithm that's actually making an opinion for you. It's like having a personal assistant, sure, but it's
Yeah, okay.
as well,
And that's
right?
one way to look at it, but it's an algorithm that I'm in control of.
Oh, sure.
You know.
Well,
And
what I'm
so-
trying to say is, yeah, you can do your scoring, but what I'm trying to say, what it thinks matches your, you know, your meaning is still coming from like, you know, some AI, whatever. But I don't care about it that much. I was just saying that it's just funny
Yeah, I
that
get
but that's the power of it, right? That's the whole point of it, right? So yeah.
I think so. Here's where I come from. I'll be a little bit more specific. I have specific places that I trust for world news. And I'm not going to go any further than that. But I have specific places that I trust for world news that are vetted, that are you know, known for providing quality news, and they tend to be balanced. They tend to they have as little of a viewpoint as you can get, because I just want the closest thing to whatever the objective truth is that I can get. I do not want to get world news from social media. Like, I think that is a huge thing that has damaged us as people, as we're getting world news filtered through social media. When I go to those sites I've mentally prepared myself. I am going to spend the next 10 minutes so that I'm aware of what's going on in the world. That's not what I want social media for. So essentially, the real value to this algorithm is that it's been able to filter that out. And a lot of things involving technology and the stuff that I do are inextricably tied to world news, right? And so like but you're right.
Yeah.
The downside to it is that I've now put Gemini in control of my feed. And what it thinks I'm going to be interested in is now what I'm seeing. And there is a danger there for sure.
I want to go back to what Ezra said a little bit there about kind of shifting how we're talking about juniors and getting them, like, there will eventually need to be people to replace us.
Yeah.
We can't stay here as the only engineers forever. And what I've noticed personally, you know, I have a lot of involvement in a lot of the coding bootcamp community and with Flutteristas of doing mentoring. And I feel like the onus of mentoring juniors is now on people like us more so than what it would be at a traditional company where you hire somebody not for what they know, but for what their potential is. And they get mentorship from within their work community rather than outside communities. So I feel like there's a lot more burden on us to get juniors in a place to where they can get hired with AI and with everything else that's going on.
Yeah, my part is mostly like being able to evaluate, let's say, the person you are about to hire.
I literally was in an interview the other day trying to hire someone for a role, and it was really obvious to me that they were using AI. So they had whatever I was saying was being fed into an AI. They would like stall for time at the end of my question. Right. And it's a nice thought. They'll come up with, they'll repeat the question normally, right? And they'll be like, it's a good point. I really like what you're saying there. And then it'll be like, then like literally rinse off like something that AI said, you know what I mean? And then they think they're going to pass the interview this. I'm just like, it was pretty subtle, to be fair. Like they, if someone didn't know what to look out for, I think they would have gone past that. But I was like, no, it's no.
That's a really good thing to mention, though. Like I literally right now I'm in the middle of coaching a low mid engineer through his interview process, and like the number one advice that I gave him was talk about your personal experiences, make it about you and the things that you've done, experience, the things that you know, because no AI is ever going to replace that. That will always be you, and that will always come through for an interview.
So I just saw what Fraser said. Yeah, quite
fantastic. Yes, with the Elgato teleprompter and Gemini up on the corner while the interview's going, you could totally continue to contact. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right. Should we get on with some questions that have been posted in the chat?
Yeah, we've got some. All right.
We got very philosophical. So
all right. So this is we already did phrase. Yeah.
Sorry, that's it. Next one.
All right, Flutter Universe. What do you guys use as state management? I know Randall already threw signals in there.
Somebody asks this question each week, so
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
every week we have something about state management. It's not a problem with like talking about it, but I think it's like it would just use up so much time for the show, every single show. So I think we'll just
Simon, what is
each
the
of us,
one that you
each of us just say the name, the title, or whatever the state management is we most recently used, and then we're going to end this question. So for me, it's been provider and signals. There you go. For
me, it's been Riverpod and signals.
There you go.
I've been using mostly Watch It lately because it's so fast.
GetX.
Provider, block qubits, like this. But I'm in an agency, so it's whatever.
Hang on a second. One second. There
you go. We gotta get rid of him.
There you go.
Yeah, he's no longer welcome here.
Oh,
a serious answer to the question.
Zero eye contact.
Provider and signals.
Yeah. What's the name of Matt Carroll's one?
That's this. Isn't that signals? Oh no, that's Rody. Yeah, what is Matt's?
Yeah, it's Anyway, let's carry on with the show. If you post it, we'll bring up the screen. Next question.
All right, yeah, Flutter Universe again. What are your best practices for managing state and large Flutter apps, and how do you decide between? So this is a little bit more philosophical on deciding between the different ones.
To be honest, the choice of what the big choice about this state management is not. It really doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
Right. It really doesn't. As long as you're aware of how you utilize it to build your state management solution up, and your other staff or other developers are working with it, and you all can work with it together. That's the whole point of like having a package or library. Now, this can be your own solution as well. Like you can just build your own in-house solution that does what you need it to do. These aren't rocket science, right? There's for most applications, you're not doing enough state changes and anything else to really be concerned about performance of any state management solution, to be honest. Like, unless you've got some really crappy things happening in your code, like you should not be trying to refresh like thousands of times a second, right? Like you're really not like in that realm. So
I would say ask yourself if you understand the state management package that you're using? Can you look through the documentation, understand it? If this is your solo project and you're building whatever, then it needs to work for you. If you're somebody like Ezra who's working at an agency who does not get to always pick, you do what is in front of you. Focus on what you can understand and what you need to learn, and go with that. Like, it's like Simon said, it's not rocket science.
Yeah, it's exactly what I tell people when they ask, because this comes up in Medium in Discord all the time. People ask, right? Because new one comes out or somebody new to Flutter and they're trying to figure out state management. And, the answer is, my typical answer is right along those lines of, if you understand one and it works for you, great, stick with it. There's no reason to try and change to another one and learn something new, unless you want to learn something new. If you want to take your app that works great with Signals and rewrite it in Riverpod to learn the Riverpod, go right ahead. But do you need to? No, you don't have to change.
We should just write a new one called State Management. I use the State Management, yes. No, I think it's also worth trying all of them, right? Like get experience in all of them, right? all the top ones you mentioned here, like go try them out, go understand them. But it doesn't really make that much difference which one you choose, to be honest. Like one of the reasons why I liked Signals recently was just its lightweight nature, and then also its integration with the basics of Flutter and Dart. So you can use streams and futures and value notifiers and all this kind of stuff with Signals. But this also means now you can use it with any other package or state management solution or anything else. If you want to mix it with anything else, you can do that. So you've got easy migration paths as well.
I would say just put Gemini into YOLO mode and tell it to pick one.
Yeah. You can just say, here's the other thing. Explain to an AI, I'm doing this. What is the best state management solution? Come up with you. And it's just going to say, pick one of them.
Yeah. My serious answer, I agree with what you said, Simon. Familiarize yourself with the big four: Provider, Riverpod, Block Signals. And then, if you're hoping to be more of an upper mid-level, like architectural role, then choose the one that you think is going to work the best based upon the solutions that you're trying to solve for the project that you're working on. I think everyone's business works a little bit different. And I think that the strengths and weaknesses of each of them, knowing them, will help you pick something that's optimal for your specific project or company or whatever it is that you're working on. So
I'm going to also caveat this with something else that always comes up. State management is not app architecture.
No.
Right? And the two things get conflated very much into one thing, which is just in Flutter called state management. Managing your state is just more about like how you rebuild your UI, how you interact with like the visual components. But that's not your architecture. That's not how you lay out your cards of your app, how they interact, anything like that. Like that's all something else. There's a whole section on the Flutter docs now for app architecture, which I recommend people read and understand unidirectional data flow and immutable objects and things like that. Right. Anyway, right. Let's move on. Unless anyone wants to add anything to that.
No.
Next one.
All right. Tree is asking or is mentioning that his 2026 resolution is to upgrade every existing platform channel Flutter plugin to FFI JNI counterparts. Any suggestions? I'm assuming suggestions.
It's just for resolutions, or it's just how you do that.
Yeah. What do you need suggestions on, Tree?
This is the resolution break 1 week into the new year.
To be honest, the why I'd say this is gonna again. It comes back to unless that platform channel is being called a considerable number of times, and you're going to get. Don't get me wrong. Your FFI JNI is going to be higher performing than the platform channel. Every single time you call it, fine. But how many times are you calling it? If you're calling on like button press and one-offs and various things, you've got zero overhead, right? It's not. Think about this: the percentage of time that your app in a session that you use your app on mobile. Think about the percentage of that time that's used to do your platform channel communication. It's going to be teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Unless you've got your app that is like, let's say it's I don't know, some 3D graphics rendering system, and that's some native package, and you're using that to render your graphics on every frame. Then yeah, having your platform channel convert to JNI is going to give you a performance gain because you're doing it consistently. And now the amount of time spent doing that is going to be a considerable amount of your session time, right? So think of it more like that. Like yes, it's really great to like eke out every bit of performance. We all know like there's always I remember I'm gonna go back now. I remember, yeah, when it was very early in my sort of programming career, I love that kind of optimization aspect to it. Just like getting a function, making it, optimizing it as to be as most performant as you can get in like C++ or whatever it was at the time. However, that doesn't take you anywhere really, right? Like you maybe get a few cycles back, but that doesn't actually gain you anything in the entirety of your application or your project or your code or whatever else. So just a thought. Anyone else got anything to add to Cherie's resolution?
Godspeed.
Yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I wasn't trying to deter you from it. Sorry, that sounded like
Shree, here's what I'm going to say. If you pull it off, you'll have my undying respect. You know, I agree with Simon. I'm not entirely sure it's necessary, but you pull it off. Hats off to you, man, because that's going to be a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely things like, for example, the camera plugin. It's byte stream of data that you get back, so you can process that and do, I don't know, AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that would be benefit from FYJNI, right?
That's what I was thinking. Like if it's a video processing or something like that, audio processing, something where you're
consistently all the time. Yeah.
Yes, then for sure. But yeah, button presses and stuff like that. Yeah. No.
I had a exciting experience with the WebView Flutter plugin. Speaking of stuff that uses platform channels, this week. So I have fought against using web views in our app, and there was one specific case where I lost that battle. And so we have like one web view in the app, and I needed to extract some information from that web view. And the simplest way to do it was using JavaScript. So I properly dispose the web view. I properly do all the things. Simon knows where this is going. Well, the JavaScript engine keeps running, which means that on the platform side, the web view never got disposed. And when we closed the app on iOS, it caused like a crash condition. And so I spent a good chunk of the week figuring out how to work around that. I'm there now. I'm good. While we were on the topic of platform channels and stuff like that, it was exciting experience.
Hybrid apps. I built a few hybrid apps in my day, and every single one was painful and disturbing in multiple ways.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And you're just adding additional complexity for not that much gain. And also you end up with a crappier app at the end of it.
Yeah. So it sounds good because you're going to get all that reuse and not have to rebuild stuff. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, look, unless you for example, here's a good example of code reuse there. For example, let's say we just said you've got like a Snapchat kind of app where you kind of like you got filters that you can apply to a video stream, right? And you've already done that on web, but it's in TypeScript, right? And whatever the behavior and logic is for that. Yeah. And okay, great. Then maybe having that in your app is a great thing. But then you can reuse that code that you've already done. But you'd be better off putting in a JavaScript engine and actually using the compiled TypeScript as JavaScript inside your app and providing an interface to the native components. Yes, you get your code reuse, and yes, you get that, but you don't have all the minutia of running a web and all the ins and outs. Like you can, and again, it's about picking about where you draw the separation, which is the big difference when you do code reuse like that, right?
Yep.
It's from different languages. All right, let's next question.
Next, all right. Jay is asking, where would you guys love to see Dart at the end of 2026? For example, WASM stable compilation, macros, etc.
All right. I'm going to tell you some news. Macros is not going to land. I don't know if you know about this. We will be seeing other things, right? We've already been seeing Build Runner has got like significant performance improvements. And other things that were really what people were hoping to get from macros. There's also a few packages now that exist to take advantage of the new build run speeds and watching and other things to give us similar macro style behaviors. We'll hopefully see augmentations in Dart. WASM stable, definitely. I don't know if I'd like to particularly see Dart with any new language feature or anything else. I mean, I think now when was it? It was what's his name? Oh Christ, I've got his book here.
Have we gotten a roadmap yet?
Robert Nystrom, Bob. He's one of the Dart language team developers, and he was saying that the big problem that you get, I think he's done a blog post on this actually, but he was talking about a big problem you get here is that every time you add additional features to a language, yes, it benefits us, like adding null safety and adding like fancy operators and pattern matching. It also adds complexity to learning the language, right? And that's the thing. We don't want the language to turn into something that, think NPM, right? Think that this idea that we keep bolting things on and we get this mass of stuff. And now anyone that enters that world, they don't know all the packages, they don't know all the different things. And it's that same thing here, that what we don't want to be doing is putting Dart into a position where it's got all this additional stuff that you need to know to actually use the language and take full advantage of it. So I think language change wise, I'm not got any big rush for things. It would be nice to see threads and more sort of something close. Just this is more about standard library things, right? This isn't language change. This is having the standard library kind of expose a bit more of the underlying architecture, so Dart can be used in more of a systems level programming aspect. So if you want to do like image processing or something else, you're better suited to do that kind of stuff with Dart. That'd be nice to see. That'd be my thing. Anyone else?
I've been using the workspace, Dart workspace, with the one pub.spec on top and running everything. And one of the, like, there's a lot of things that it makes it really great. Like you can run Flutter Analyze in your root and it analyzes all your stuff, but you can't run build runner at the top. You have to get into each directory and run your build runner there. And I think there's some improvements that could be made there to make that piece grow a little more, which to Simon's point, I think would simplify Dart rather than make it more complicated.
To Simon's point about adding new features and making it more complicated for people to learn, I'm lucky that I actually work on a very, very small team, and like the people that see my code are very talented developers, and like I don't have to worry about this. But one thing that I'm constantly thinking about is like, if a junior looks at this piece of code that I wrote, are they going to be able to figure out what the heck it does? And that's less of a problem now because they can feed it into an AI and ask them to explain it for sure. But the flip side to that is the more new language features and stuff that you add, the more likely someone who is less experienced going into like a corner of the code base where I use that new feature is going to be confused. And I would rather write code that is clear than code that is fancy, I guess. I mean, I don't need to show off how smart I am. I think everyone on this call knows that I'm not. But just I think that's the thing that I worry about. So in that turn, then I'm more excited about stuff under the hood. So I frankly am super excited about WebAssembly. Like I am massively excited about WebAssembly. I think there's some cool stuff that I would like to do that WebAssembly will unlock. Not ready to talk about any of that yet, but I think that's yeah.
There's just on the point that I was making earlier, there was actually this web page. Let's hide the current one. There's a web page on Dart language organization on GitHub called Language, which is where you'll find all the proposals for new features that they're talking about. This is the one I was talking about, which is around. I posted it in the chat, the link to this, but this is the one about shared isolates and threading and some of the other good stuff that we could possibly see with adding atomic references and some other things that you actually need to do some high performance workloads. But there's a bunch of working specs here about things that want to be done or have been done. So if people are interested, then there's this language repo that you can go look at, and it's about all about the future of the language and how Dart's evolving. And there's Bob. Nice one. Anyway, yeah. So I wanted to post that in chat just so that people have got that and understand it. Back to the actual question, which was Ezra. Did anyone else have anything to add to this before we move on to the next one?
No.
That's that then.
All right, Hassan, when does a developer become a senior, especially in Flutter?
If you need to ask, you're not a senior. There you go. Is that how it works? It's one of those, right?
Titles, schmitles. Every company has their own kind of like rubric and idea of so you can't go by a title.
No.
That being said, yeah.
If you haven't had the knighting ceremony, then yeah.
You guys haven't had the knighting ceremony? I think John and I both got the knighting ceremony. They call you in, Dash stands there with a sword and like taps you on each shoulder.
The senior Flutter developer. Knighted in the realm of Dart. Anyway,
Simon.
So I think there is something to be said. Like it's hard to put a finger on this, but there's definitely. I don't know if I could put a finger. I don't know if I could. Maybe it's just an experience thing, but you do get. I feel like there's definitely like as a junior, you can look at some code and you just don't get it, right? You can say, I just don't get this, right? And then there's kind of like a realm of when you become a senior that you're kind of more understanding and you're more practiced in the use of code. And so you can better read it. You can better, it's not just about writing code and coming up with these ideas, but it's more about knowing where the docs are, how things are done, what library I should go to, all that kind of stuff. That also adds up to this whole realm of knowledge that you're gaining. And you gain this knowledge by being immersed in your profession, right? So to say that it's the same thing about, what was it? I can't remember how many hours it is. It's like 5 years in doing some work. You become a professional, essentially a professional now in that work because you spent so many hours immersed in that area, in that field. So I'd say that there's that kind of aspect of, I couldn't say that there's any one point because obviously everyone has different levels of experience and everything else. But I would say that there's definitely levels of experience that you go through, and a lot of the interview process that I've been part of on both sides of that is trying to understand where that person is and what their experience journey is and what you need from them for the maybe the project that they're going to be working on, something else, and to find out if they're a good fit, not just like from their skill set, but also from their personality, right? And then finding out is also a big portion of time. I'm going to kind of harp on about interview here, but a big portion is just understanding if they're willing to learn, right? Like if they know how to learn, right? How to read documentation. These are all very important skills to know that you can give someone a task and go, okay, if you learn about X, Y, and Z, you'll know how it works, and not have to dive them into the details. That gives them the direction they need to actually go find that out for themselves. Is very empowering for both sides of that equation, right?
Yeah.
I would say you can also like get it from the delivery of the task or feature they are doing. Maybe it's a little bit more unclear, but to open it up, for example, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a senior because you don't know or never implemented NFCs, but you did whatever, like, or never worked with an Apple Health doesn't mean that you are not senior in this scope. But when you get a task or a feature to implement, can you see, okay, how it is done? On top of it, a little bit of best practices, a little bit of documentation of a person comes behind you, can understand and go through. The tests are done, the edge cases are covered, and if it goes through a documentation, like an automation, that it is tested and properly delivered. So it is not just working, but an engineering quality added on top of it. I think that shows also the seniority of the engineer, not necessarily in Flutter, but that's how I would go for. It includes learning and delivery and thinking the person after you and the teamwork and more.
You just triggered it, like something for me just then, like a memory. Like I was looking into something recently. It was an Apple specific. I had to go through Apple Docs, and because I know how Apple structures their whole, their frameworks, that you can oh, this links to that and that thing goes to here, and you can kind of navigate the documentation, you can navigate how Apple decided to do things. I think there's maybe there's an aspect here of put yourself in the place of another developer on another project, which also comes into seniority. Like that's actually a skill that you learn. I think it's like understanding someone else's viewpoint on something, right? Like putting yourself into another developer's shoes is actually a really important skill as well to understand and learn. Like if I was that person doing this, how would I be doing it? And then you go, oh, that's why they did this and that, and you kind of you can learn from that, right?
For myself, I know the moment I felt like a senior developer, where I felt that myself, was when I wasn't afraid to say I don't know, and when things that I didn't know didn't scare me because I knew I would be able to figure it out. So I was like,
that's a good point.
Yeah. But I think too, even tying it back to some of the stuff we were talking about earlier, right? So a junior developer is going to do Riverpod because that's what the project does, and they're going to learn Riverpod, right? A senior developer is going to be like, okay, it's Riverpod here, but why is it Riverpod? They're going to start looking at other things, learning the other options that are out there. And when the next discussion comes about which state management do we use, they're able to talk more about the ins and outs of each of them and why one should be used over another versus, well, we use Riverpod, so that's what we're going to use, right? You apply that across the board to other places within Flutter, and you start to become more senior as you learn more and are able to draw from those experiences, pull those into the discussion, start talking about architecture a little bit more than you would have before, where you were just like, okay, this goes here because that's where I was told to put it.
I mean, as we said with AI, there's not much of the writing code aspect of things now is getting less and less directly important. It's more about frameworks and the systems that you understand and the knowledge that you gain to direct the AI or to direct another person in terms of how to put things together, right?
Yeah.
So that might be something to explore in terms of seniority now.
Well, and to the AI point too, the other thing that I think separates is a junior person's going to put a question into the AI and take the code and assume that it's going to work and not know how to figure out or spend a lot of time trying to figure out why it's not working, versus a senior person is going to put it in, take the code, look at it, and understand what it's doing and where it may be wrong or is what they need, and then go with it from there. They're going to know.
Yeah, I was going to say I would give one thing I'd say to everyone is never ever just take, even from a Stack Overflow, just take code and just use it in your app. Why does this solve the problem? What is it solving? How does it work? These are all questions that you should be asking us to learn, to understand what you're doing, right? To know when something's not, the solution is not exactly right for your thing. You might need to tweak it or change it or do something else. Not just run it and then find all these bugs and try and work around it and just make it work. I think that is a good point, actually. Is another thing about it. As a junior, your job is to just make it work a lot of the time, right? Because I think that needs to be. But I feel like that. Like, there's a certain amount of time I think as a engineer that you spend reading documentation, understanding, libraries and everything else. And that is maybe should be a lot larger for a junior, and it becomes less over time because now you have that knowledge to back onto. So maybe
I'm going to give a philosophical answer here. So, philosophy corner of Makerinator, yay. And that is this. When it comes time for salary negotiations, I unlock my brain and 100% I am what I am, which is a senior developer. I do know my way around Flutter. I do know how to write a good app. I do understand how to solve problems. The entire rest of my life, I think that for me mentally, I perform better if I think of myself as a junior. And the reason for that is because I never want to make an assumption. I never want to not know what I don't know. I never want to assume that I have the answers. And so if I think of myself as continually being in like that junior kind of mindset of like, making sure that I understand, I feel like it makes me better overall. And so I think, when you're a junior, you see a lot of stuff that you don't understand, or you think you understand, and it turns out you don't. And there's like that constant, like high level of learning. And I think that the best seniors keep that high level of learning. And so for me, it's like a psychological trick that I play in my brain because I don't care about the title. The only time it matters is when I'm negotiating a salary, and then the imposter syndrome needs to go out the door and you need to negotiate your worth. The rest of the time, stay hungry, and that's my philosophy.
Always stay willing to learn. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. What's next on the list?
Let's see. Next up, what are the key challenges in creating smooth and synchronized animations in Flutter, and how can you ensure multiple animations run together seamlessly? Depends on how you're doing them, I guess, right? So are you building them manually? Are you using a package that allows nice chaining? Are you going to,
create smooth animations is what you get out of the box. If you're not getting smoothness, that's because you're probably doing something wrong, right?
Right.
Like rebuilding all of your widgets of your entire screen every single time an animation runs or something, right?
Yeah. Or you're not tweaking the right settings, right? You're not changing your easing and stuff to make it smooth. And
that's another thing that actually happens, like in terms of I saw this. Is it very? Trying to think of a good example. Let's say you want to change a gradient, set colors for a gradient, right? Like in the grayscale. There's only so many colors you get. Otherwise, you get what's called jail bars or barring of the colors, right? Yeah. In like a gradient. I think it's the same thing you get in animations as well. In terms of if your time is too short and your animation is too. Let's say you're trying to animate something completely across the entire screen, and you gave it like 50 milliseconds, you're going to get like 3 frames of animation. It's going to go zap, and it's not going to really be smooth and nice and experienced, right? So I think there's actually more about tweaking the way that you choose to do your animations and the settings that you want to choose. Multiple animations running together that's built into Flutter. You just use a controller. So there's a difference between, and I think this is a case of how you're doing your animation. So when you build animations up and you're using the animation system for widgets, you have implicit animations and you have explicit animations, right? The implicit ones are you've just given it a different color and it animates on its own. That's it. It's done. It contains its own controller. Versus if you actually use like a transition widget, for example, to perform your action, it takes a animation that has the value changing, and then you have one controller that you start and stop to run all your animations together. So again, it's maybe more about how you're maybe approaching your animation.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something that kind of get you started and you want to do something easy, there is the Flutter Animate package.
Are you off, Kenny? Sorry.
No,
Ezra had to go.
Ezra. Sorry.
Yeah.
Flutter
Animate, Flutter_Animate is a nice package that makes it easy to chain animations together and does a really good job with animations. It happens to be a Flutter favorite from G Skinner. So
there's also the animations package from the Android/Flutter team, Dart/Flutter team, and that offers some out of the box nice animations to use for various things.
Yep.
Or you could just use Rive.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing, of course. Yeah.
Depending on what
you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, again, like if you're trying to like, there's a difference between what you're trying to animate, right? So if you're just trying to have some sort of like self-contained animation, Rive is like the go-to, right? Like some sort of graphic that you want to animate alongside things. And with Rive, you can input output variables, so you can actually have it tracking the cursor or the focus or whatever else you need it to do. But certainly, like, there's certain ways of animating. We could maybe do this in live coding. I think I can say, anyone's got any live coding suggestions, pop them in the chat now, or anyone wants to know about something, put in the chat, and we can have a fiddle around with it. But I think maybe it's something we could explore here. Sure. All right, a lot of the questions are actually repeated, so we do actually have probably a bit of time as well. But let's see. Anyone got any more to add to this at the moment?
No. All right, Tree's asking for suggestions about how to proceed. I think there should be easy way like Nitro Module 2 where you can create interface. Oh yeah, this is back to the
conversion from platform channels.
Yeah.
Not really. that's to be honest, those kind of things. This is the thing. There's a point at which you're developing at that level that it's going to be unique for each of the things you're doing, and it also depends on how they've been orchestrated to use platform channels as to how you want to do it with JNI. So I don't think there's any one particular package I'd suggest.
No.
All right. Anyone else on this one, or
Next. Solomon, I need to convert HTML, CSS files into a Flutter app. Any tools to help speed that up?
Gemini. Just use AI.
Use a web view.
Yes, don't use right. Avoid web
Don't
view.
use a web view.
Use AI.
No, but honestly, I was actually doing this. Like just use like pick whatever. I mean, probably Claude Code or Claude Opus or whatever it is. Like this ones would probably be the best coding model to use. But I'm sure Gemini / what's the new hyper whatever it's there's a new coding.
So
AI
Composer, it's not
I'm going-
Composer. Sorry.
What's the IDE? The IDE that get
Cursor.
Google
Cursor.
No, the one from Google.
Oh,
Infinity. Sorry,
Anti-gravity.
that's anti-gravity. Yeah. So you can use maybe try that out and see what you do. But yeah, I mean, yeah, see how it goes, right?
I also wonder where you're getting the HTML and CSS from. This is probably not the case, but a random thing that flew up in my head is Figma gives you everything as HTML and CSS, but there's plugins that will automatically convert that over to Flutter. It doesn't do it very well, but it does it.
There's also MCP connections for all these things, so you could then get the AI to connect to Figma and say, export this out or whatever else. And the same goes for, I think I was using, what was it? I was using that Snit. Oh my goodness me! I've lost all my brain has just gone out the window.
And Solomon followed up that the HTML is in a repo. So
okay, well, fair enough. But what was the AI design thing from Google that we were using the other day for the
Stitch.
It was Stitch.
Stitch.
yeah, for the generating
Stitch.withgoogle.com. Yeah, that's the one.
So I have been using Stitch to try to make the most cursed designs possible, and it is that'd be a fun competition for the show one day. Is like everyone in the audience like try to make the most cursed design with Stitch, and then we roast them on stage. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, Cursor has a new model that they own, and the cool thing is that if you've got a subscription, you get unlimited use of it. So I was avoiding it. I use Claude's model for everything. I think it's Opus or whatever. But I ran out of credits, and I had like 4 days left, and I'm like, I don't want to up my plan, so I started using the Cursor like free built-in one. Surprisingly good, does the job. Like
I use Cursor and I love it. I use it in combination with this one's not a popular one. The only other person I've ever seen use it is Chris Sells, and he used it live at FlutterCon USA this year. But Warp is a completely terminal based. I mean, that's how it started out, as just a terminal, but everything does a better job at different tasks, Yeah. So Cursor's great for one thing, and then I'll use Warp to do all my like Google Cloud stuff, or right.
One of the maker tubers that I watch uses Warp, and I've been meaning to try it out. So you like it then?
I love it. Yeah, I'll send you little referral codes. I'll send you.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, send you one of the referral codes. It's like I said, it's always been a terminal, and their first kind of toe dip, into AI was more like how we can autocomplete your like command line. So it started as that, and even that was super handy. And they just kind of really slowly started building in other features. And as all these other IDEs came out and everything, they've really had to just like jump into the fire more so. But I find it really valuable for certain tasks for sure.
I've actually had that same experience from using Augment Code, which I highly recommend as well. augmentcode.com. They do this context engine, and it's not just about using the model. They've got like a CLI and everything else, but it's code suggestions and everything else that come along with like what you're doing is what makes the difference. Yeah. Anyway.
Nice.
Right, moving on. What's the next question?
Next up, is it okay to trust pictures and or videos as proof of something if they are taken through your Flutter app? Here's from Richard. Pictures and videos as proof if they're taken through your Flutter app.
You're basically saying like, is the image genuine, not like AI generated? Is that what you're trying to get at here?
Yeah, I guess we kind of need a little bit more context.
I would say generally don't trust anything.
Yeah, that's you just get the answer.
Yeah, I mean, what's the context? Are you, okay, a caretaker of stray cats must send pictures or a video through the app as proof of these cats in order to receive any help. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's
So if
you need to be able to check if they're mocking the location on the device, like it's coming from, like you're only use the GPS position that's coming through and stuff like that. So you can do all this stuff with the native platforms.
Are you getting raw video or are you getting processed video? Like
Right.
AI is going to deliver.
Well, the one person says if you're using the camera package and it's coming from the camera inside the app, they're doing the recording. There's no way of selecting a media, then attaching it. Then
Right.
you're good, right? Like,
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, then it's just location, like you said. It could be something that they'd have to be careful of. But
there are analyzer things that exist out there, but that is going to add
I'll just say
complexity.
Detecting GPS spoofing is very hard. Just ask the Pokemon Go community. People have been spoofing their location in Pokemon Go since the beginning, and they're still doing it. So good luck on that. But
I'll be honest with you, they don't probably detect or change it. Like they're not probably protecting against it. They probably don't care that much.
yeah.
no, that's true.
Anyway, right, next question then.
So back to the FFI JNI stuff. He already has a battery and printing published and is porting the React Native Vision camera for the last month, and it will soon be ready. Would really love to work. Really loves working with FFI using C and Kotlin. So it's not really a question, more of a comment on the question.
This is awesome, man. Like you're positioning yourself as an expert in this area, which is really good. That's really cool.
Shree also mentioned that the one I was thinking about it was MacroKit, which is the
yeah. Nice.
Cool. All right. Well, we had if you have any more, we have a couple of questions come in.
Yeah.
There's some code one. We'll get to that in a second. Let's just see if there's any. What else we got here?
All right, Abdullah, I love Flutter, but I notice when I build my app in web and open it in my mobile browser, it's very poor in performance. And recently I read that building web with --WASM can make it faster.
Okay, slow down.
True.
Are you building it as a release build and opening it in your mobile app?
Yep, first question, yep.
Because I can tell you right now, WASM is not the thing that's probably slowing down. Like you'll get perfectly fine performance out of your Flutter web app. It's I wouldn't worry about WASM right now. Yes, it will make it faster, but equally, I think just adding more complexity, you don't need to right this second. Make sure you do a Flutter build web -- release, and then take the resulting output and host that or run that somewhere on like a Firebase hosting or whatever. There's loads of examples of how to do that. Because most people will run it in their IDE, then open up the IP address of their computer in their mobile phone or whatever else to try it out. And now what you've just done is you're now just sending over all your debug connection, all your debug files, and it's not optimized for that. It's optimized for development on the local machine only.
Another lesson I learned being a senior, it's probably you. You know, you run across problems where you're coding. If something is just really not working, it's not that there's a bug in the language or the bug in the framework. It's probably you. It's probably something you're doing. So start there. Figure out how you can go through your own code and make it better.
I feel like in development, it's not you, it's me. It's like the one point where it's like not toxic. It's like it really is me. Sorry.
Yeah, and
That's the same question.
Rarely the first person to have a problem. If it's a real issue, even if it is you, somebody else has probably had that problem too. So it's out there.
Yeah. So Abdullah expanded upon that, said that he read that using WASM would make it possibly faster than React. Is that true?
Sounds like garbage to me.
Yeah.
No, well, don't get me wrong, like when then React compiles to WASM and then it's the same. Yeah. You shouldn't be saying, "Oh, I want to make it faster." React. What does React matter to any of this?
And as a former React developer, I can confirm that it's also you making React slow. Whatever it is.
It's always a hardware issue.
It's always a hardware issue.
I mean, there is that aspect, like it works on my machine.
Yeah, it ran last time I ran it. I didn't change anything.
It's interesting. There's so many variables that go into writing and running code now. There's so many layers of abstraction that there is always a change, right? Like you can have it working in one scenario and not have it working in another, even with the same, like on the exact same device and everything else. Like, yeah, just the one little thing and they're completely different results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's an interesting one because in previously we guessed like we were talking about Commodore 64 the other day, but I won't go into that. But in chance that your software that you run on those is running the entire machine, right? Like so your software is in control of all the hardware. There's no magical what's the word? Magic code that's running in multiple layers underneath you. You don't know what's going on. You can't predict it. No, what you're looking at is the state of what's exactly what you see in front of you. You know, so it's different. Go on.
Trying to explain to a younger person yesterday about how Apple IICs did not have. Yeah, I'm like, no,
way back.
Floppy in, and it only runs off the floppy. There is no hard drive. What?
Right. Yeah. And you had to worry about memory and how much you were using, and yeah.
So we had a question. So I think that we'll say that's the end of questions now.
Yeah. Did you pull that one up to see what this auto?
So Michael here posted about some code. We're gonna go look at that and see what we can do.
Just FYI.
Sorry,
I've got about 10 minutes left in me.
All right, let's talk about this one quickly, and then we'll get on to some codes. Let's see if I can share.
Same, unfortunately, Callie. My work phone's blowing up, which means something's on fire.
Are we getting this? Let me make this bigger for a second. This might be too big. Yeah. So first time Jester, welcome.
Yeah. All right.
Create a budgeting app and these combo boxes that I can select the existing account or create a new one. However, I've been struggling with the keyboard navigation through this form. Buttery smooth. 100 accounts and trying to navigate through the keyboard through this form and not a great experience. Hit down arrow to open up options list and hit the up arrow to navigate from the bottom. It's hard to select an account with the keyboard and get the next field smoothly. It seems like an extra escape to dismiss before I can tab to the next field. Create an account doesn't refresh the options list. Okay, this might be hard for us just to kind of like work. We can probably do an example, but not maybe based on this because of the dependencies and everything. Although this is like an example, or maybe we can do
it. Yeah, he said he trimmed it down, hopes that it's enough to actually do something with.
So I think it sounds to me like the problem here is add 100 accounts, category names. Okay, reset accounts. Yeah, so what you're probably falling into is one of, in fact, looking at this, I'm pretty sure you are, which is one of more about. So there's a focus manager in Flutter. Let's go find this quickly. So it's going to take me a second here, I think, to find. There's a few different. So the big one is Focus Manager, which is the top level component inside the Flutter framework that actually controls your focus. and then the primary focus being the one that's currently got the focus. In effect, that's what it is. This is what I was looking for: focus traversal group and focus traversal policy. These are the ones that actually decide how when you traverse through widgets with focus, how that focus is transitioned. So I tab through this and see how that's going around. Like, do it again. There you go. That's really interesting, right? That's not your normal, and that's because they provided this ordered button here with an order in it, and then they've obviously overridden the ordering behavior. Is it focus order, numeric focus order, lexical focus order? And if I can find it in here, focus traversal group is where it comes from, right? And I think they've got a custom policy in here somewhere. Which order traversal policy, which kind of comes into this one here. So you've got a couple of like pre-made policies. Yeah, and you can just do your own as well. So this probably comes back to what you're looking at. There is a, I mean, maybe we can just debug this in a second. You've also got the semantic debugger as well, which could also help here in terms of giving you the information you need to understand what's actually going on with the focus tree. But that's probably where I'd say first to look at this, and we'll see if we can run this up and debug it if you like. Is Michael still around? Is he? Said anything, but I'm guessing he's still around. If he's not, you can watch the recording. But yeah, so let's pull this in and take a look at this. This looks kind of interesting. Some nifty code here. Definitely some things I wouldn't do, but you know, nothing's perfect. Let's have a look. Should we have a look?
Yeah.
All right. Give me 1 second here. Let's get this cloned and running.
While Simon's setting that up, Callie, that person that you're mentoring, ask them to mime answering the phone and just see what happens.
He's 25. We've played this game before. Yes.
Yeah. It's this versus this. Yeah.
He's my favorite 25-year-old. He only recently turned 25, and so it's been this goal of him finally being able to rent a car and not have to pay. So he's one of my favorite humans. Different stack. He's a Rails guy, so you know, it's never been about coaching code with him. It's always been about coaching concepts, and he's such a question asker, and you know, really kind of takes everything and runs with it. And to me, that's all you need. All you need.
It reminds me of it's like what was that thing? It's kids when they're younger ask like, is it 100 questions an hour or something stupid?
Yeah.
But when they go to school, they actually start asking less questions. And it's like a teacher saying, "That's not the time we're here to learn. Not the time to ask a question." It's like, right?
That's the whole premise behind Montessori schools. Like they kind of have a lot less guided teaching. Or, I don't know what that's called, but.
You know how like we always joked, like when I die, clear my browser history. When I die, I want people to delete my Gemini account because I ask Gemini 1,000 inane questions a day. Like if you saw the sheer amount of stupid stuff that I'm like, I wonder, and then I go ask Gemini and get an answer. It's terrifying.
Do you feel like you've been publicly shamed now? Is that it?
Yeah. It's like I feel like if I die, you guys are going to open up my Gemini account and read like the questions that I asked on air. It'll be like, oh my gosh.
I think they fixed it now, but there was that bug that people were talking about with various, I don't know if it was Gemini or ChatGPT or whichever one, but if you shared your chat with anybody, it then became completely publicly available to the whole wide world.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get this up on stream here. Let's see if I can make this work. So I pulled in the code. And we have some dependencies by the looks of it. I've done the wrong year. I'm not in 2026 yet. Right, so what we don't have is the dependencies here on this test package, so let's add those. Just going to add pop add this. And what was it?
Signals, yeah.
Right, let's see where we're at. Refresh. I don't know what's going on. There's my syntax highlighting gone. There we go. Kicked in. Right. Fix that. And account with 3 C's. So, right. We try and run this and see what happens. I think we'll run it as Windows app, so we can get the desktop focus. Oh ho! Right. Add 100 accounts. Right.
Said hit the down arrow to open the options list, and then hit the up arrow to navigate up from the bottom.
I mean, like on the drop down, yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what he means. But and then it can be hard to select an account with the keyboard and get to the next field smoothly.
Yeah, that's interesting. That I'm trying to actually. Well, here's the first problem.
Oh yeah,
That's that. I'm tabbing here to the next field. It should take me to the next field, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's because your pop-up has a focus, but it shouldn't. It's taken the focus. But that's kind of interesting, right? Like the action in which we like down and pressing down here for it to pop up. There's an interesting. So yeah, down. Now the focus is on this. Once something's got focus, enter is filling it out. But now,
it's filtered into that one and stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the point. Now it's stuck. So
Yep.
the actual bug here is this.
Yeah.
Is that you've got one item that's stuck? Surely. Let's have a look. Transaction combo box.
Well, it's almost like he's filtering. He's setting a filter. And
based on
filtering the drop down as well, rather than just storing the selection and changing the selection and applying the filter to the data. Right. So it's like he wants groceries as the filter for the list, but he's filtering the options list as opposed to the account list or whatever it's on the right side. That should.
But what's interesting about this is actually using the autocomplete widget that's built into Flutter, which I've never actually used.
Yeah, interesting.
And this has got that options view direction down. So, and this is actually passing in a focus node. So that's optional, I would assume. Yeah. Let's have a look. Handle selection. You see, when I'm tapping on it, it's then dismissing and taking me to the next. That's what this is doing, right? So we're actually setting it and then proceeding to the next focus. So on key down. Logical key. Why are you overriding tab? What? Why? Don't do this. You're asking for trouble. What is all this? So the idea here being when you've got this. I'm not sure what you're trying to do there with tab. It's nothing. It's not. And I can see what you're saying, like, you know, with escape. This just seems so convoluted right now. Like this behavior of the whole idea of having a highlight when you press up and down is built in. I don't know why you're doing this. This behavior is already built in. Maybe this is, and this is wait, when are you doing this? On key down. All right, let's do this. Let's just remove this from the mix right now. And see what we get in here. So now what's actually happening here is I'm going to get rid of this focus as well. I'm just getting rid of anything custom right just for the second. So now we've got the field viewer. You're ignoring the focus node, and the text editing controller. Bring those in. And then down here, okay, they are the same, but it should really be using the ones passed through. All right, let's restart and see how this behaves now. So tab is taking me through, and then the idea here is obviously like the idea here was to focus on. Well, that's add. I've got to add the So yeah, so really what the problem here is, I think you're actually having is actually one of using the inbuilt autocomplete system, the inbuilt autocomplete widget, and controlling that. Yeah. So options view. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, yeah. So this is out. This is out the actual options list to pop up from. Doesn't it have like a? This is optional though, isn't it? So I don't even use this.
I need to bounce, guys. I think work actually is burning down, so I'm gonna hop off.
Okay. Yes. Go
I will watch this later because I'm curious to see what the actual solution is. But I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one.
I got to pop.
See you. Okay. See you guys.
See you next time.
Yep.
Okay. So again, the thought here is that we're getting an automatic list being built. Sorry, I'm just like again, it's a lot of this has been duplicated by the looks of it into the highlight index. Hang on. Highlighted index. Yeah, it's coming from autocomplete highlight option of this. Yeah, so this is actually the autocomplete is actually in let's see what the, okay, sorry, I'm just trying to get my head around what is that you actually done here. So Yeah, I run this option. Let's just bring this back out for a second as well. I'll just add additional complexity right now. Just right. Okay. So that's interesting. Now look, when I tap on it, the list is coming up, and I can press up and down to navigate it. Right? And that was just the options, the transactions option viewer being the default one. But something you're doing in your one is changing the behavior of the default. That's interesting. Also interesting that even that's selected. Yeah, see again, like the autocomplete, I think there's a the thing is, there's not a focus on the way it works. The way that autocomplete systems work normally is that you can see here the focus is in the text field that I'm typing in.
Yep.
That doesn't change. It's the pop, and even though I'm pressing up and down, that doesn't have focus, right? The autocomplete pop-up box doesn't have focus. So when I press enter, what I'm actually doing is pressing enter in the field, not pressing enter on the pop-up. And I think that the key here is changing the behavior of our focus node at that level. So let's just see. This would be this. It would be this focus node, but I wouldn't put it necessarily in the builder. I would be setting up the focus node. Yeah, this is definitely not the way to do this. Definitely don't just do anonymous add listener anywhere, ever. I can tell you right now, you added about probably a lot of these because this builder is being called when the UI builds, right? There's no guarantee that this is going to be called once. So look, let's follow it down, actually. I'm curious. Let's follow this down. Yeah, there you are. The build method literally calls it. So every single time that build method is being called, you are adding a new anonymous listener, right? Bad idea. Don't do that.
Yep.
Right? And then again, you're resetting the value. Bad idea. Don't do that. That's nothing to do with build. These are all side effects that should not be taking place during build. Builders just build the widgets, right? So if you want to control some of this, I think you're going a bit overboard here, right? We can change the default. Don't get me wrong. We change the default pop-up to make it look better, right? That's immaterial. I think it was just the way that you're going about that with this custom highlight index is probably, again, you're trying to override the default up-down behavior and trying to like sort of override that behavior. I can see what you're doing here. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like I think that's just going too far, right? The other way of doing this is don't use autocomplete, right? Like the other side of this, which is if something is what's the word? If something is if you're fighting against a framework or something like that, then just do it yourself. I mean, like having a pop-up and doing that, you can go look at the autocomplete widget, see what it's doing. You don't have to have all the options and parameters and everything else. You've got a specific use case to do that. Anyway, let's sort this out. So focus widget coming in into your widget is being passed in. So we don't own it, but what we can do is when our init state gets set up, we want to add our handle or whatever it is, and in here we want to remove it, right? So we can say widget.focus node dot remove listener widget.focus node dot add listener. Oops. And then we'll have a little function here and we can choose what to do when a focus change is happening. I just AI completely know whatever that is, right? But this is I see the same when it's lost focus, then remove the highlight one, don't show an empty, right? Let's have a look here. What else do we have? On selected. to see what's going on here. Let's clear this. Right. Okay, I didn't do what I want, but that's fine.
No.
So there is this kind of, from a keyboard perspective, wanting to go up and down here. I guess there's an aspect here where tab, you kind of do kind of expect tab to autocomplete and move to the next field from the one that's selected from the drop down list. So if I was typing in like groceries or whatever, right, and it shows that one selected, then I have to hit tab. I expect it to autocomplete that and move to the next field.
Right.
I'm assuming that's what Michael was looking for. I think that was like some of the problems he was having. So let's have a look and see what we can do there. I don't think there's any actions shortcuts emitted from this, but let's have a look. And then also the drop down list has to have the behavior of having a different type of list where, create is obviously not an entry that you can select. That's interesting actually though. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where's that coming from? Item builder. Is create new, starts with create. What is this?
So he's manually adding.
I don't know what this is, but it makes me feel bad.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. All right. Let's figure this out. Like this, yeah, I see what you're doing, don't get me wrong, but that's not the way to do that. So let's just bear with me here. I'm just trying to hunt through. Yeah, okay. So this is where get options is coming in. It's basically saying that, okay, here's a text editing value. Is it empty? Then return the full list.
Yeah.
If it's
look for a match.
Create account, match it based on what contains, and then trim the input. And if we have a create new account feature, then give the option to create a new account based on that. Yeah, this is obviously an idea. I would, however, I would treat this as a UI thing, right? I wouldn't put this as a front end option. This would be moved down into my drop down list. So let's just put that here. Fix me. Oops. Move to drop down list options UI whatever. Right. So rather than actually being an option, it's a behavior, right? Like it's handle selection. That's I wasn't getting a printout for that. Maybe I was and I wasn't seeing it. Hang on. What's the signals debug thing? Damn it. I've forgotten. Hang on. Hang on. I swear there was something like this. What's Flutter? I've got to find what I want. Signals observer. Instance equals null. That's the way to do it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Gemini. You're my friend. Well, how do you copy all that? Copy all that. Oh, you copy the code. Let me just, oops. So I just wanted to see if when we select one, yeah, so we're not getting a selection behavior happening, which is interesting, right? Because I would expect that. So I think that this probably means that if we expand upon that situation and fix that, then the rest will follow. And then when it comes to creating an account, this starts with create. That's just not the way ever to do like this kind of stuff, right? What happens if you actually had a valid, I know it sounds stupid, but you could have a valid, you know, field that starts to create, right?
It's possible, right? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it should be, no, shouldn't be down to like the string, should be down to the type, the nature, the class, the attribute, those kind of things that drive this. So in this case, I would have the create flag being passed over to the options view, and then it would actually, you know, show the appropriate one where needed. Right. So let's just figure out what's going on here with the default one versus our one. And it sounds to me like there's going to be something straightforward, but let's go take a look at that. Give me a second, actually. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang on a second. You have to dance like a monkey for a second. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. All right. We'll wait for Simon to continue looking at the at that code. Didn't see anybody else asking any questions. No, Abdullah, we tend to do them every week, although there are some weeks where none of us can make it, or at least not enough of us. We try to have at least 3 of us here, sometimes 2, but usually we try to have at least a small enough group to make it worthwhile to be able to answer questions. But every week at the same time. So in whatever it is, 166 hours or something like that would be next week, Wednesday at the same time, 11 Central US, 9 a.m. Pacific US. And I don't know what that is for Simon over in London, but somewhere around, I'm going to guess 5 p.m. ish. Is this a Signals tutorial related? I don't think so, Navneet. This was a question that somebody posed to us, an issue that they were running into. They just happened to be using Signals. So that's what we're looking at.
But yeah, I mean, like we can obviously.
But I guess the question, did it come from a tutorial that they were following? Possibly. I don't. I think it's Michael would have to answer that, but he didn't say that it did.
Well, yeah, the fact that it's using. Actually, let's get the pen off the screen now. I mean, you can certainly use it as an idea about how Signals work. That's
sure.
Really helpful.
Yeah.
Right. Where was I? Sorry.
So we're going to look at the options view.
Yeah. The options view.
And see what's different.
So let's see what the default one is and works. We have this option complete options autocomplete options widget.
Yeah.
This specifically does not take focus, which I think maybe. So again, this takes the highlighted index, uses that, gives the direction to give it alignment. But a lot of this seems to be what's been pulled in. So let's compare this to the package itself, the code that's been passed in, and then we can go from there. So there's not a lot of room on the screen. Sorry, I've got the font massive so everyone can read it. Okay, so we've got align, material 4, constraint box, max constraint. Yep, hard coded in, that's fine. So the one on the right is from the platform, the one on the left has been brought in. And then again, we've got this. We've got options list. That's the widget for that. This has been brought in as a list view. This has some interesting behavior. So the highlighted instance is different than this is doing ensure visible to scroll to, jump to, and all this behavior. So by just rebuilding this widget with a different highlighted index, it actually does the animation and moves to the appropriate index. Interesting. This is using a scroll controller. Yeah, to perform. Yes, that's his own self scroll control to pull the actions.
Yep.
Item builder. The whole is new thing is in here, but that's fine. Semantics button true. That's kind of interesting. So each entry would have those semantics. This one, list tile, does that automatically? I don't think it does. On tap, maybe.
Yeah.
So we've got an object key for each option. We're missing that over here. That is actually a problem with the original. With the code coming, you need a key. So ignoring the fact we've got some like layout different types of that here. We got obviously the fact it's got the focus color to highlight it. Let's have a look. Theme of highlight color we're using here, not the focus color, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because each one is different. So if you remember, each of the boxes had a different color around it, so it's probably being passed in to just differentiate them.
Yeah. And then on tap, we've got selection. I mean, there's not a huge difference here, is there? Which is interesting.
No.
I wonder if this is maybe something to do with what's actually happening inside of this tile then. Maybe.
Well, so, but what it, so in the original, right, on tap is running whatever was passed in for unselected what is the original?
Yeah, I mean, it's doing the same thing effectively.
Yeah.
Right? You got this on create stuff, which can be done a different way, obviously, but
yeah,
I'm not seeing an incredible difference here. The only thing I can think of is, that the fact that the way that obviously key does actually make a difference, so it should sort that out. But equally, maybe the semantics and the inkwell is behaving differently to the list tile in their respect that list tile is adding a lot more widgets, so there might be
maybe
a whole load of. So look here. So we've got inkwell, semantics, ink, safe area, icon merger, the list tile renderer themselves. I think there's maybe just like one of those things where we're actually could just be the list tile, you know. Let's see if we can diagnose that, right? So let's switch to using let's sort out this create thing, and we'll come back to this, right? And then let's go from there. So are we still here, Michael? I don't know who I've lost.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. He's got in the live comment, he just made a comment. Some of the autocomplete focus stuff is because he or Gemini wrote that before Flutter exposed focus node and texted in controller in the autocomplete instead of raw autocomplete.
Yeah. Well, let's so this is definitely a better interaction than what you had, but I think there's still completions that need to take place. So we've got the fact that when we've got one selected, an option that's selected, we need to be able to have tab or enter select that, and that's not what's happening at the moment. So
right.
I'm not even sure what the best way of approaching that, but we can try shortcuts. I don't think there's actually a standard. Do you know what? I'm not even. I don't think there's any actions being emitted from this that I saw. Yeah, because we're just using inkwell, and there's no selection state on that, so there's no actions being emitted from that. So yeah, we're better off like doing similar to what you've done here already, right? What you've got here is perfectly reasonable. I just need to maybe we just need to understand what you're trying to do. There's a few different parameters here. Obviously, I'm not involved in. The scroll to highlight item. think he's asking for trouble with this. The whole idea of ensure visible is to do that. Like, I don't think you need any of that. Show options on empty, false. So there's like a flag. So when it's empty, you're saying it's true. So it shows it. Well, that seems to be the default behavior we're getting anyway. So I'm going to drop that out of the mix. The highlight index is something that's being tracked automatically. So that's coming out. So we don't need this logic in here. And drop this out. Obviously, you're going to have to bend this to maybe what you reintegrate into whatever you've got at the moment. As you did, this was simplified. So, yeah. Let's see where we go. So when we don't actually want a listener, then what we actually want to do, and that is, it feels slightly more problematic actually to do it this way. But let's on key event. So you're overriding the key event handler. Let's drop this in here, and then we can maybe look at shortcuts in a minute. Okay, and you actually want it on key up, not normally on key down.
Yep.
So I would change that behavior. It's kind of interesting. Escape is already dismissing the box. So there must be something else. Hang on, let's just look at it. I feel like I'm
Well, so did you look over the handle selection code yet?
well, I've got it disabled at the moment, right? None of that's been.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not getting the printout. So there's something else going on here in terms of this options view builder. Here we go. So the focus node is being passed over to raw autocomplete, and raw autocomplete. Let's have a quick look here. Text or tap region. Oh, it's highlighted option. Well, that's interesting. Well, I don't remember seeing this before. This just seems to be, maybe this is something to do with the raw one. But yeah, I'm not seeing. Hang on. Oh, we do have shortcuts. Hang on.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Look. Up arrow, down arrow. Intense. No. What we could do. This is yeah, so we could actually add in, I'm just thinking we could add in our own maps for I do feel like this is really weird though, right? Like, if you're going to press up and down
It should
to
move
select something,
between the options, yeah.
but I think the idea here maybe is that, well, it is but
And then what selects? Enter?
yeah, that's my point. I can't make it like tab and enter aren't doing that, right?
Oh.
I don't think there's any custom behavior. I've not seen anything in here that's doing that, right? So we've got dismiss intent, which will be our escape, right? That's actually working, right? So we've got our escape. And then what I'm just trying to work out here is if there's, it feels like it's missing like the selection one, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like surely that's the one that you would expect, or is it that one when one is highlighted, is that meant to auto complete it in the field, right? Like, is there?
So
that as I go down the list, am I expecting that to change the contents of my text field? Maybe that was their original. That's the only way I can think of this working. But oh look, select a given option, update the widget. On field submitted.
Call from field view builder. So is there
that the only place
default?
That's used? Yeah. Hang on. Options widget. Hold up. Wait, what? Oh yeah, if we got builder, it's calling that. I'm passing over the select function. Maybe I missed that. Options builder.
Unchanged.
No.
Submitted.
Oh no, here on selected.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's actually doing the selection side of things.
Yeah, and that ends up going back through the handle selection method that he has in there. That sets the value.
Which is setting the text editing value.
Yep. Yeah, it sets final selection.
And it calls on select, which is why I had the print statement to get the callback.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that it's on. The only thing I can see is on field submitted. I feel like there should be we should maybe have an additional shortcut actions map here for if we add our own, and then we have an on field submitted, don't we, getting passed in somewhere? I suppose just use on selected though, right? Let's first of all, if I bring this one back in the options, and then this is built from what was that? It was I've got to go find it now. This one. This will give us the index, which is what this should be using. Yeah. So worry about that for now. How did this pull through normally? It was so. Sorry, 1 second. I've got the wrong word. That's what. Okay, so we don't care about the direction. We don't care max height, and then the string display for options also not handled. So this. It's interesting because this was being highlighted and this was being monitored internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same as the scroll controller. Why have we got a scroll controller being passed in? Hang on a minute, what? Oh, was that the scroll to item, right? which we're not doing anymore. Yeah, so we drop that scroll controller. So it feels like it's in the wrong place. Sorry for all the scrolling up and down, everyone. That's a bit dizzying. Right, so transaction options view. So then we're posting our options in. You're gonna have what do we want to rebuild when it changes? I guess each item that's visible. We'll leave the whole is creating in there for a second, and we'll come back to that. What else have we got here? Yeah, we'll sort that one out in a second. Right, let's run this and see where we're at. Let's get rid of this one and this one. Yeah, let's have it self own the scroll controller. This is the behavior they were doing before, which was okay. If our highlight selection has changed, to pass that in, do it that way around. So I'm going to flipping back and forth here. It's because they had the two levels, didn't they? So in the original, they've got the list, and then they've got the surround for that. Yeah, we'll do it this way around. It's fine. Much the same, really. The builder will run again, and then we'll get the highlight index coming through. Right. Cool. Where was I? This is the widget. Right. Cool. Restart. What did I do? What did I break?
Oh, yeah. You had a key event result at the top there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do. Okay. So, okay. So now we've got the proper drop down list that we're looking for. That is interesting. I go down and it jumps to the bottom of the list for some reason, or just. It does feel like there's. Am I missing something here? That doesn't. Definitely not the right behavior I was expecting. So look. String wrap padding controller. Let's switch out the. Oh wait, I know what it is. Don't. Yeah, try to find that global key with that indexed item.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing the default here is just like scroll basically. Yeah, if you go null, then jump to the highlight index. Or there you go. If the highlight index is 0, then it goes to the max scroll because it thinks it's going around.
Right.
All right. So down, up, perfect. Add 100 counts. Click on this. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. I don't know why I've got a blank one, but I can go up and down, so that's nice. Not as pleasant as the other one, but I guess you can't create in that one. That's why I don't have to create. I don't know why there's a blank one. Maybe I added a blank one by mistake just now. Reset counts. Restart the app. Add. Some option 0. Maybe I did it. Maybe I did add a blank one. Anyway. So if I say GR, and then we got the create one. So now it should be, yeah, GR. Okay. All right. Yeah, I definitely feel like to tab select these is probably where we're getting back to. Right. Okay. So that's solved that. Now I think having tab and enter select, and then let's solve the create thing. Now we've got this working. Let's sort out this whole create malarkey. So the point of showing the create option is only when so the create, the create is only added. Let's be, where is it? Create when create new account does not equal null, right? Input does not equal empty.
Well, it's when it's
basically saying it's
matches,
not
right?
One already, then you can create this one, right? Okay, cool. Then this I kind of get what they're trying to get at here. So you're adding in a custom entry, but then I think that's the difference between then have account be so this is where view model comes in, right? So if account is your data model, and that's one thing, and then you want something for display, and that'd be a view model. So in this case, I might have like account options view, right? And that has inside it an account. And bool is create new, right? I don't want to sort of overcomplicate things, but I just want to show example. I mean, obviously, if you can just modify, I'm doing this, you only do this if account is something you can't change. For example, it's used elsewhere in your app, and you only need it for this one thing. Then you create a new model that joins those two things together. Obviously, in the sense that what we're doing here is probably not the case, but I think this is a good example of this. So I'm going to do it. And then in the case of, what we're now seeing is it's the selection, the type that we're dealing with is now this account options view, right? And it could be one of these things. So if we come back to how we complete all this, I'm going to get rid of that focus stuff in a minute. Let's just clear this up. Yeah, so our get options now becomes the view. You can have the is new false by default, and just kind of tie this up a bit, and then we can go one step further in this case because we're just wrapping it. What else do we want? Account view, and then down here, this is where this kind of maybe comes into a better way of doing this, where we say, okay, given these settings, this set of values, now we're going to say matches ads and options view. And this has too many brackets, not enough. And matches obviously needs to be mapped. Right. So very similar to the previous one, right? But now we've added this additional flag to each of the items. And then the handle selection side of things becomes one of yeah, and then again, this create new side of things, right? When we actually create the new, oh yeah, check if this is a create option.
Right.
Yes, all this goes out the window, right? You don't do this crazy stuff now, right? So in the sense that we'll come back to that in a second, but let's go. Let's say handle selection takes a view instead. Select, we'll call it selection, fine. And then let's have a quick look at this. If it's null, then selection becomes final selection. Else, check if it's a create option. Is ID empty? That makes it create option apparently.
Yep.
Then we call the create function to create that option with the name from the account. And we'll get that new account back. We ignore the error. I guess I know this was simplified, so I'm not gonna comment on that one. But yeah, and then the final selection is this. This is again, this does kind of come into the case of this is probably better for saying if selection complete is new, is create new, then we create a new account. I don't know why it's doing that, but yeah. Anyway, and then final selection. Obviously, we get back a account and error message. So yeah, would say this, and then let's do this for now. That'll do. And then the else situation is the final selection equals selection account.
Yep.
And that makes a hell of a lot more sense to me than when I was there before. And I guess nullable, it will never be nullable, right? So
right.
I guess this idea is if yeah, so what we actually want is have it late. This is because account can come back as null because of the error. So we want to say like if account is null, return, or obviously this is null, or maybe error message is not equal null. I don't know like how it's been handled, but then this can never be null. We're never going to have a default. All right, so let's just tidy that up, and then where are we on our options view? Now I can pass that across, and then when it comes down to the widgets down here, we've got options view. Cool, getting there. Okay, so now we get down to the good stuff, which is we gotta have our, let's call it a view for the minute. And then we can, then this whole like, is it create based on text? And is the ID empty or whatever else we want to do. This all goes away. This is now, we already know because of the flag that's got on it, right? Also, the global object keys are going to use the identity of the object. So there's a slightly different way of managing like an account list like this that is slightly better in that situation. I'll do everything right now. Wait for another day. Right, and then set option color is create new. And then down here again, it's like, oh, if it's create new, then extract the category name and add it. So again, this is a proportion of this, right? So in fact, what we do is, when we're creating that category name with the whole create thing, that all goes away as well. So if we go back up to wherever the hell that was, create this. Yeah, this shouldn't be this anymore. This
it should just be the input. Yeah.
Yep. And then when it comes down to actually displaying it, that's when we go, oh, is this a new one? We say view is new, then format it as, create view account name.
No, that's so.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the on tap is just gonna.
Yeah, if I can find out where this. Anyway, and then the on tap, all this stuff goes away, and it's just select the option. So. Okay, so that definitely makes a lot more sense than what was there. And okay, so we should still have now the same behavior. Yeah, this is, I set options green or null. I'm just gonna, maybe it was again simplified, so I'm just gonna do this just to. Doesn't need to be there now, but who knows? Right, cool. So restart. So let's type GR. Then we got our create green again. Click on that. We go to the next field, but if we go here and set GR, now it's still there. So that works better now. And all we would need is the tab and enter to select the field, and then I think we're done. I was going to just copy the same way they were doing in here in essence, but I'm wondering, we'll do this first. If this then works, then we'll then follow it up with a shortcuts actions maybe, because I've already got this going on in here. Right, where are we? Yeah, it's ignored. So when we say if event is not a key up event, return key ignored. And then so now we can be, there's actually now that we could do a switch statement on this actually. Actually, switch would probably be the best way of handling this, but we'll get there in a second. Let's sort out the rest of this. So yeah, definitely don't do that. That's what that. Definitely don't want to do that. Yeah, shift and go between. No, don't do that. Escape. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
No. Don't need to do that. No.
So here we got arrow keys, which we don't need.
Down, up. Yeah. So now it's down to this one here, which is if you hit enter. Yeah. I think enter a tab is quite a reasonable thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting about this, like the whole create thing, that also goes away as well, right? Because we're handing the view back that already contains the information. So the create is actually happening in the correct location. All right, so let's take that out, get rid of this. Oh, that's so much better already. On change set state. I'm not sure why you're doing that. I'm gonna get rid of that. And you know what? I'm gonna leave it in there for now, and then we'll try and get rid of it and see if it changes anything. But yeah, yeah. I'm gonna show you a little. We're tidying this up a little bit. It's a bit unwieldy this is at the moment. Anyway, right, here we go. So if you're pressing enter, so we can say if node has focus, right? Yeah. I guess we only well. Yeah, so we don't actually care if it's doesn't have focus. And this whole thing can go away now. We have handle selection. It's just what we need to do, right? Yeah. Yeah. With the selected option, and that's the thing that we need. That's a good point, right? At this level, where we're adding this on the focus handler, we're not going to have the information. Do we bring this down? I mean, we can bring this down to the options view itself, which probably makes the most sense, I guess, since that's the thing that's actually performing the action. So hang on a minute, let's just have a quick look here. We just need to be able to add and remove ourselves from that focus. Yeah, okay, let's do it in here. We lost John somewhere.
No, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I had a call come in. I had to go take it.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Right, so we're just going to basically move.
You're just going to move that all down. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is, it was a widget dot on selected. And then we now know which option it is because we have our options list and our highlighted index. Yeah. And yeah, we're going to do a list. Iterable is fine. Does a list override the element A? It probably does, actually, saying that. I'll leave it in there. It's fine. Okay. Let's see what
you can add for a tab too, or you just want to do enter first?
Let's do enter and then see how that behaves. Why is dispose? Oh, because I did super. So.
Yeah.
We have an error. Sorry, don't pass it over. Right. Oh. Ow.
Jumping?
Yeah, it's doing the same thing where it's because I'm using the wrong thing on here.
Oh.
There we go. Right.
No.
So groceries tab. Oh, enter, sorry. Oh, dining out, enter. Yeah, I think I know what's going on here. So what's happening right now is the enter is being processed by the text field possibly before our. I don't think our callback's even getting it loses focus before it.
You think so?
Yeah.
You just set a breakpoint and see if we hit it, right?
Yep. I'm just going to just check something though, and that is drop this out like quite for a second. Oh yeah, add G. Or maybe this was the example of key down, because key down is going to come in and be processed before.
Oh, before key up.
Yeah. Hang on. Yep. Nice. All right, but now I can do enter on the create. Oh, that's so much nicer. So, yeah.
So yeah, so now you could just add an
So I can tab between the fields.
Yeah.
And I can type over something else. Home insurance, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, groceries. I want this one to be grant. Yeah, that's super simple now. And
Yep.
I think that it makes sense to do the enter and not do tab in there, because it means that you can tab to the next field. Oh, that's
No, you
interesting.
can't.
I can't. We had that was working there, wasn't it? When I was using the
maybe.
I think when I was using the
Lane, you made it.
Hey Lane.
Only because we've gone 2.5 hours.
Oh, it's fun though.
Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah, I thought it was working before with the tab.
Let me just check that here. So when the pop-up's not there, we're tabbing through fine.
Yeah.
When the pop-up pops up and we tab,
it's like it's jumping. It's almost like it's jumping into the list and then jumping back out.
Yeah, and I think I'm not even sure what's going on there, to be honest. Is this a whole? Let's get rid of this. Hang on, let's do a couple of things here. Let's do some tests. Let's get rid of the key handler and make sure that yeah, still same problems. There's no key handler, all right? We can't restart the entire thing, Lane. Sorry. I think let's just try getting rid of our custom options view here for a second. Use the default one. Oops. No, it doesn't work in there either.
Yeah, no, and he says to make it work, he's had to hit escape to dismiss the options list before tab will work. So
right. So why don't we
Yeah.
do this? I think we can handle that. So we know we got the dismiss intent, right?
mhm.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't need that in there. We've got the. Let me just change something. Yeah. Okay. Let's go hunting for this. So when we were looking at this just a minute ago, our raw autocomplete sets up a series of actions and shortcuts to
Mhm.
performance interactions that we could give us the ability to override this behavior. So here's the default ones, right? So the whole idea of the actions map here is that we could then say, okay, when we get this intent, then we can perform our own action instead. Is tab amongst these is the question, right? Up and down.
No, it's just
not.
up and down and page
So
up
this
and
is
down.
probably focus related then, right?
Mhm.
The somewhere this focus node being passed in, and this would be I'd suggest is probably a bug. What we could do is on down of tab, and we have focus. Dismiss the focus, right? Now that should solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, what do we want? Do we want tab to act like an enter?
I know I'm saying like act as a dismiss, because you're going to the next field.
But are you
tab to next field makes.
Are you selecting the one that you already have?
I feel like it's the same as escape, to be honest. If I go up and down here, it's not in the box yet.
Right,
You with
not
me?
until you hit enter, yeah.
Not until I hit enter. Tab, I feel like is the same as dismiss, like escape.
So tab should really be like a two. It should do two things. It should escape and then tab.
Yeah, let's just see what happens if I do something like.
Can you even handle it?
Let's find out.
Like if you, yeah.
It can only not work, right?
Right, right.
Actually, this is what happens if that happens. Yeah, if we just do that.
Oh, you gotta load.
Right.
Yeah.
G ab. No, nothing. We don't even know if it's getting into here though, do we? So
yeah, either set a breakpoint or print something out.
I have a feeling it's probably not even getting in here, to be honest. But that's
possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing on our output. Well, sheet. And there's obviously this kind of comes back to for like a focus node bug inside of here.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's losing focus, the field's open,
right.
And then it's regained.
It feels like the control itself should handle that, right? Like a tab should basically close the pop-up and go to the next field.
So look, update options view visibility, internal focus node. Wait. What? Internal focus.
Yeah, what it's not set to anything.
Yeah, it doesn't add the listener. It's only when it creates its own. That doesn't make sense. There's a bracket missing here, surely. There should be a bracket here.
Yeah.
Is this the bug? There should be a bracket around these to say, okay, use the one passed in or use the internal one.
Yeah. And
then add the listener to it. This is missing a bracket.
Yeah.
Well, but also, actually, why are you adding a listener in the getter? This should be effective. Because because all these places are going to add.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so because I see what they're doing because it's only adding it the first time because it's null, right?
Oh, yeah. If it's null, create
So
one. Yeah,
update
and then
view.
add a listener. Yeah.
Can show options view. Okay, so basically what they're doing here. Okay, I see. So, and then when it starts up, it adds it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's doing things in a crazy way. Fine. So when the focus node changes, it updates the options visibility. And then that is based on can show options view, which is based on if it has a selection. Hang on.
Load. Yeah.
It feels to me like it's obviously it's blinking, right? So it's hiding and showing again.
Yeah.
So we've got there's some bug in this that we need to track down. I'm not going to do it right now. We're running way over on time.
Yeah. 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 It's either hiding and showing it again, or it's tabbing and then tabbing back out. So focus is changing.
Yeah,
I think like it's redrawing it.
So this can be converted to a shortcut action. That would be better.
Yeah.
And then and then we can shortcut action intent, and then let's get back the custom drop down. I'll remove that as a temporary thing. Here's options view. That's better. Yeah, this is definitely better from a entering perspective. Yep. Solving the focus stuff as well, and you can easily create one. So you can imagine I'm saying John, create, and I can go on to the next field. Like that was super simple. I'm typing in like name and creating an entry if it doesn't exist. Super nice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely better than.
And if it already exists, yeah.
I think the biggest thing left is, like you say, is figuring out the tabbing, which
that's maybe some
something in the control itself.
It's definitely something going on inside of the actual autocomplete widget itself.
Yep.
When that pop-up's there, for some reason, I think this to me is just a bug in here. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with the parameters that we're passing in or the behavior that we're doing, because unless is it possible that handle selection is being called? Hang on. Let me just check. I wonder if it's trying to complete it, right? So DIN. No, let me just... No.
Okay. No, because it's not even getting to that point.
Because there's nowhere else we're playing around with focus, right? Like.
No, yeah. It just feels like focus is being flipped.
Yeah, I like we don't pass as long as that focus note doesn't get passed on. Good.
No, we're not. It's not like we're manually trying to change it any place either.
Yeah,
so.
This is definitely something that's inside of autocomplete. Was this to tab over with the options drop down open? I had to hit. Yeah, okay. Sorry, that's
same thing you were saying. If you hit
let's actually have a quick. Let's have if we could actually work out you know what we could do? Oh, I've got an idea. This could be a bad idea. I like it though, so we're gonna try it. Widget dot focus on focus changed. So if the focus changes and we don't have the focus anymore, let me just do this just to. I want to see if we get a focus lost feedback. So we're down here and we hit tab. Yes, this is good. Okay, so definitely we lose the focus, but then the window's still there, so it somehow regains focus. This is definitely a bug in that. However, what we can now do with this, can we? Yeah, we should be able to post the dismissed intent. I wonder if this is going to look horrible. Let's find out. I think there's a quick fix here. Maybe if we're lucky, this is not going to look terrible. I have a feeling it's going to flicker, but what the hell? Let's try it. It's a quick one. It's the actions. Why are you not coming up? Raw. Sorry. Dismiss. Yeah. So it's this hide options that we need to be invoked. Can we? I don't know. It's something I haven't had to do before. I'm gonna fire off the intent. Actions invoke. Yeah, with the intent. Yeah. So if we just do in our
in the key handler.
No, I was going to do it in here.
No.
So when we get lost, I'm thinking maybe doing something like actions dot invoke.
Oh.
Dismiss intent.
Yeah.
No. And then if I do this, let's just, I have a feeling that, let's just say, no. Well, it was worth a try.
Yeah.
A bit hacky anyway. If someone uses print instead of breakpoints, do any of the coders have to use them in real life? Nice. It's print is definitely a worthwhile debug thing, but it's not in the cases where what we're trying to solve here is one of, it's not of state of how things, it's how a lot of different components are operating, and it's one where a breakpoint just doesn't make sense.
Well, I guess so. Forgive God posted out there, and I guess maybe joined late. So the up down events in the pop-up are working, and then if you hit enter to select in the pop-up, then it does update the content correctly. What we're trying to figure out is tabbing. So if the pop-up's open and you tab, it doesn't actually do anything. It kind of flickers, like it's redrawing the pop-up and keeping you there as opposed to moving you to the next field. So that's what we were trying to see if we could solve.
Yeah, this is definitely
it feels like a bug in the autocomplete.
Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything to change the value.
No.
And there's a lot going on in here to do with focus.
Yeah.
It's probably like, I mean, there could be an extra parameter for all I know that we pass, that gets passed in that you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't see any, but
no.
Ah, sorry. I had an idea. Is that a bad idea?
I don't know.
Let me just check something here. Hang on. I'm curious. The focus. No. The focus node. It's been used on the text form field, right? Yeah, so when you press tab, this is the one that actually has the focus, and you're expecting it to proceed to the next one. But I wonder if this is actually a bug with the fact that we're using the visual order. No, the focus traversal we looked at earlier, the policy. I'm wondering if what's happening here is we hit tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Focusing visually to the next item, which is the list.
Yeah.
That gets dismissed and then returns back to the previous focus it had.
Right.
So, and then when that gains focus, then it shows the list again.
Oh,
So
yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
it might be that our traversal, what you need is a traversal route
Because
around.
we're inserting. Yeah.
And then the tab traverse. Yeah. Hang on. If we wrap our fields in this, let's have a quick look. That's what we got right. Date, blah, blah, blah. Sure. John, that's not what I wanted.
No.
Let's just see what we get. Because when you tab, as soon as that popped open, it's when it was gone. Now I'm tabbing through and it's fine, right?
Right.
Oh, interesting.
Now tab goes away.
Yeah, now it goes away. I think it's what I just said is happening.
Yeah.
What's happening is visually.
Yeah, you're inserting a focus in between,
and this is to do with the overlay portal. If the overlay list has its own focus scope, that it's not. Yeah, I think what we need to do is essentially disable focus on the subtree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment, there's options. I mean, all of these are tappable. These are essentially focusable, right?
Yep.
I don't know if there's actually like a. Let's see what happens. I mean, this is not. I just wanted to see. And then where was that group? Let's get rid of that. All right, let's try again. Okay, same problem. Ah, yes.
Hey, look at that. That was the winner.
Nice. It works.
What if you?
Blimey hell.
What if
Right,
you? What if you don't pick something? Does the tab still work, or is it picking?
Oh yeah. So if I tab, it just goes to the next box that's empty,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
and it pops up with the list, and it doesn't take the focus.
Hey.
Exactly
All right.
what I was looking for. I feel like this is
There
the
you-
behavior that we're expecting.
There you go, Michael.
Mike's probably given up as a bad job. He's like, oh, that's it. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, Michael was here like 20 minutes ago, so maybe Michael's still around.
Right. Let's fork Michael's gist and update it, and then I'll post this. It's
no.
strictly speaking, it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
So to be clear, let me explain what the issue was. When you hit tab, the focus manager tries to find the next visual widget, the next visible one on the screen that's below the one that you're on right now, and focuses to that. So what was actually happening was if we press like here, if I press tab, what it was actually doing is focusing to the widget, the widgets in this list.
Right.
Then the lists, then the text field loses focus and then it dismisses the list, right? Because the text field lost focus, our focus node. But then, the focus that we had is removed from the focus manager, like the tree.
Back.
In which case, it returns back focus back to the parent, which is the text field. So you had this kind of circular thing that was happening where we tried to leave. When the focus leaves the widget, it would actually return focus back to the same widget and then pop the list back up again.
Right.
Basically, what we've done here is we basically said no. The pop-up cannot request focus. It cannot receive the focus. And in doing so, solve the problem. I do kind of feel like this is probably
something that could be fixed in the autocomplete.
Yeah. And there's also this is a simplified maybe solution. There's also the question around accessibility, semantics, how this might work with that. I'm not even going to go there. This all has to be debugged and looked at. Make sure that obviously it still works with the semantic tree appropriately. It definitely improved things, right? So we've improved the account creation stuff. We've got a custom pop-up. We've got the custom looking stuff, and simplified a lot of that stuff. I'm liking the result of this, and I think the only thing I'd say I would probably want to change is this key event listener. I would recommend that you convert this to actions and intent and shortcuts system. But not doing that right now. We're way over topic. I think it was fun though, but it was way over time. It was a fun little excursion. Right. Let me get this posted. Holy smokes. You're welcome. Hopefully everyone found that interesting somewhat. Let me post the code and then say one second. Where is today's? Right, we've got, what is this?
Today's the 7th.
What are we calling this? Focus drop down list?
Auto focus or auto complete something or other.
Autocomplete lists. There you go.
There you go.
And then this is Humpday Q&A on 7th of January 2026, everyone.
First of the year.
And then let's get LinkedIn. Right. Update. Okay, the gist is on the screen and in the notes, all the rest of it. Hopefully, there you go. Bob.
There you go.
Thanks for sticking around, John. I know that was longer than usual, but I think that was worth it. I like that one. That was
yeah, it was a good one.
Are you about to say putting you to sleep, Randall? Don't. Yeah, that's not a good answer.
Well,
Right.
if he fell asleep, he obviously woke up at some point because he's typing.
Yeah,
or he's
that's a
got
good point, actually. Yeah, I was going to say just that interesting. Put to sleep. Yeah. I would never put you to sleep or solve this problem. It's kind of interesting, right? I wonder, if I didn't use any AI in that effectively, right? Like I just kind of logicked my way through it. But I do wonder if I posed the question to AI, what it would come up with.
If you gave it the code base and what was happening, maybe
it wouldn't have solved that one, right? Like that is very much there's several intuitive leaps that happen there between things that I think that might have been.
It may have gotten the concept right. It may have been able to figure out that there's an issue with the focus nodes, but given a bunch of things that weren't.
Yeah, and I think there is that kind of like if we told it, I believe this is what's happening, it probably would have said, okay, yeah, and then here's how you solve it or whatever else, right? Not actually. Yeah,
and they probably wouldn't have worked, right? It would have been like, do this, put this focus node here, passes there, and things that would change it, but not actually fix it.
So I posted the right link in the chat, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah. Cool. Gemma was all over that, but there's prior autocomplete. I need to pass in a focus node. Yeah. All right then. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Hopefully that was interesting, and we'll be back same time, same place next week.
Yeah, in a week.
Yeah, we'll see where we're going.
See you.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.